Okay, let's come out a little bit. We just came back from seeing Bob Marley, One Love. Well, frankly, it was kind of hard to know how to feel about this movie. I was left feeling like there was a really good story that I wasn't told. First of all, before this movie, we had to watch like a 6-minute pre-trailer slash. It was like a special message, and they were trying to do it like a behind the scenes, but mostly they were just showing the same shots from the trailer that you've already seen over and over and over, with like a bunch of people that are, like Ziggy Marley and various members of Bob Marley's family, along with some like production crew and the director, just talking about how much work went into making this movie very authentic and getting all the details right and telling the true story of Bob Marley. And then I feel like the movie didn't tell any of that. Well, okay, let me put it this way. Sam and I were talking on the car ride home. I always felt very silly pretending as a high schooler that I was, really could connect with the music of Bob Marley, because ultimately I know it's an artist whose songs represent a lot in terms of political injustice and freedom, and it means a lot culturally to a lot of people. And then me in Amherst, New Hampshire, that messaging wasn't for me. And this movie felt a little bit like it was supporting that, where they glossed over the historical significance, and there were just so many moments in the movie where you could tell, like it was supposed to be a moment that you were feeling the weight of all of the political buildup to that moment and how much it meant. Unfortunately, that was like 10 minutes into the movie, and the story relied so much on you already sort of understanding who Bob Marley was, why he was so important, why his music was so influential. But if we just look at it from a story perspective and a writing perspective, we didn't know that at all. We were expected to feel these big, heavy emotional moments when we weren't even like 20 minutes into the movie or an hour into the movie. And then the vast majority of the movie was just about his rise to fame on his tour through Europe. And I'm sure that there was a lot of important aspects to that rise to fame from maybe the perspective of someone from Jamaica, or even from Africa or something like that, under these like British rules. But we didn't know that. Instead, we just watched some montages of him playing and traveling in a tour bus. And at the end, it did get better. It felt like the pacing was a little bit more reasonable. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I felt like I left the movie theater thinking, I really want to know what the story of Bob Marley was. And why am I saying that coming out of a movie about Bob Marley's, a story about Bob Marley? That should be the exact opposite. I should be thinking of, I don't know. I'm a little bit over these biopics, these musician biopics, because the marketing sort of like trope is that they're these big, epic, Oscar-winning, emotional things about these icons of history, and they're being performed by these up-and-coming actors who are in the role of a lifetime. It's like, it sells tickets, but this one felt like it was that movie. It was someone who hadn't made a whole lot of movies trying to make that. So, I didn't hate it. It felt like a big letdown. I was really expecting to leave that movie feeling like I really understood Bob Marley's life and his career, and I can't say I really understand or feel any of that. So honestly, I just hope there's another one made by somebody completely different and written by someone completely different and has nothing to do with any of the cast or crew of this movie, because it seems like there's a really fascinating story to be told there.